Thank you. Hello. Thank you. Hi. Welcome. Come on in, take your coats off and sit down and get comfortable. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you. Glad you're here tonight. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. I went to Walmart today, and like I always do, I walked in, got my cart, placed my purse in the basket of the cart, and took the safety buckle and buckled the straps of my purse into the cart. And I do this because years ago, I went to the store with one of my friends. Wendy walked in and went through that exact same routine, and I looked at her and said, "Why did you do that?" And she said, "Well, because if somebody ever tried to steal my purse out of my basket, they'd have a pretty good fight before they got away with it." And that has left such an amazing impact on me. Now, I call these tiny treasures of truth, or triple T's for short. We all have them. Think about something that somebody said or somebody did that has left an impression on you, that now you are not able to do that exact same thing or say that without thinking of them first. Has anybody had that kind of experience that they'd like to share?
I have.
Kelly.
This is something that stayed with me. Normally something doesn't stay with you your whole life, but high school was a long time ago. I don't want to say how many years ago. But I had a principal who every year we'd go into the auditorium and he would take out a nice clean sheet of copy paper, hold it up and say, "This is your reputation. It's nice and clean, you've come into school, nothing is wrong with you." And then he would take that piece of paper and smash it down to a little ball. And then he'd open it back up and he says, "It can never be the same as it was just a minute ago. If this is you, this is your reputation, if this is what you do to it, you are going to go through the rest of the school year as damaged goods. Someone is going to know you as smashed and broken. So always stay with you as your reputation as being nice, white, clean." And then it stayed with us every year. And as a sophomore you go in, and wow, this is really cool. Junior you think, oh, again, this is our reputation. Senior, this is your reputation. But it is something that has impacted me, and I have used it in young women lessons and lessons along the way because it's something that has impacted me. It's a truth that has impacted me, which is, a tiny, tiny treasure of truth.
Yes.
It is. It's your reputation. It's going to be with you the rest of your life.
Thank you so much. And for some reason, like she said, these tiny treasures of truth have staying power. They stay with us for the rest of our lives. And you probably always think of that principle as that lesson comes to your mind each time. I was listening to talk radio not too long ago, and the talk show host was telling an experience that I thought, that's exactly what this is a triple T. He had said that when he was a 14-year-old boy, he was at a baseball game. And the pastor who gave the opening prayer in the game said something that has stuck with him through all of these years and has caused him to influence others as he has had an opportunity to really influence a nation. He said that in that prayer, the pastor prayed that he would always be grateful to God to be a citizen of the United States of America. And that has stuck with him through all these years, and he's used that to influence many, many people. We have an opportunity, just as this talk show host did, to choose what will influence us and what won't, and what we will do to influence others. Whose life are we making an impact on? What kind of things are we doing that shape people? And how are we impacting those around us? For good or for bad, we all have these kind of experiences, and we highlight those or we share those that are very positive. And yet there are negative triple T's that make up our character as well. And so we have to be able to make the decision to flush the negative out and to share the positive. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you say. Now, I believe that that is true, that our actions do speak very loud and they make an influence on the people around us, but our words are very important as well. How and who we influence by our words, our actions sometimes are not known. My grandmother went to school when she was in her late 60s, graduated with my father. That has left such a great impression on me, even though I wasn't around when she did that. That has helped me as I have decided to go back to school as an adult. One time we were driving home from Cedar City, Parowan, southern Utah, and I had all 3 kids in my car with me. We had been down to visit my husband for the weekend. He was working down there, but we were still living in Idaho, waiting to get moved down there to be with him. And if you know anything about southern Utah and the road between Parowan and Provo on I-15, you'll know that there is nothing. And the traffic is 100 miles an hour, and you just do your best to bear the straight, dry road. So I took off from Parowan and I set my cruise at 90 miles an hour, and my young son, who was sitting in the seat next to me, looked over and he said, "Mom, do you know what the speed limit is?" And I said, yes, I know what the speed limit is. At the time it was 75 miles an hour. And he said, "Well, you're going faster than that." And I said, "I know, sweetheart, but I'm just trying to keep up with traffic." And I made some excuses to why I was breaking the speed limit. Well, not long after that, I see red and blue lights pull up behind me, and I thought, oh no. So not only did I get the dreaded first question, "Do you know how fast you were going?" I couldn't lie to him because I had a young son who had just called me on this. And so I said to the officer, yes, I know how fast I was going. And he said, "Do you know what the speed limit is?" And once again, I could not lie because my young son had pointed out to me what the speed limit was. And so at that moment, I chose to be honest. And I don't know how much that has influenced my young son. We have not really talked about it. But I do know that of all of my children and their driving habits, he is the one that never speeds. So that may have left a lasting impression on him. In fact, it's to the point sometimes where it's almost like, please at least drive the speed limit. He was coming home from college and he was bringing his grandmother with him for Thanksgiving dinner. And even his grandmother leaned over and said, "You know you can drive the speed limit." So we don't know how lasting and how much effect we have on people without even really recognizing it. So what's scary is that we're responsible for the choices that we make and for the influence that we leave on people's lives. We have an opportunity to smile as we go throughout our day and leave that impression on people, or we can choose to rage. We can be kind, or we can be mean. We can choose to enjoy life and help others around us to enjoy life. Or we can spend every single day like, oh, I just want to die. But we have to consider that we are responsible for the impact that it leaves on others and the triple T's that we leave for others. So I want you to consider what you've left. We all know that we've had other people leave very powerful influences on our lives. So what are you leaving? This last slide hopefully will help you to consider what you have left for others. So take some time to think about that. Thank you.